Hello, 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 and welcome to Lunchtime with Dr. Nadine, the final session in this month's installation where we featured amazing ladies. Today, we have another special guest joining us all the way from Kenya. But before I introduce her, just drop in the chat. Let us know where you're joining us from today. We would love to know who we are having lunch with. And so let us know in the chat, where are you joining us from? Our guest today is Villa Magati. Villa has experienced several miscarriages in her journey to parenthood. And because of her experience, she's now on a passionate journey helping women who themselves have experienced invisible losses. Because sometimes people think because the child was never born that the loss doesn't really count. But she's helping women who have experienced these invisible losses to gain self-awareness and identify possible steps that may actually cause them to continue to lose or to help them become powerful in being able to manage the losses that they have experienced. And so, Villa, we're so excited to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Nadine. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, as you're joining us here, we have our folks dropping in the chat where they're joining us from, but I'm sure our viewers would love to hear a little bit about your background.
As Dr. Nadine has said, my name is Villa Magati. I am a Villa mentor. My background, I have an undergraduate in international business administration. I majored in accounting and marketing. And I have a professional postgraduate in marketing with the Chartered Institute of Marketing. That is my background. And I've worked in corporate for 19 years before I decided to call it quits and concentrate on my healing process and see what else God has in store for me. And so that's what I am doing. And that's why I joined Dr. Nadine in this journey. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for that corporate background, but I'm sure they would love to know a lot more about the other background that has propelled you. So let's talk a little bit about, what brought you into my world and into the speaker mentorship program. What were you looking for?
When I was contacting you, actually I had followed you for about a year before I decided to now, pick up that call and contact you. I was in a space whereby I needed to move forward. I had resigned from my workplace after 19 years of service, and I had experienced so much loss. I had served so much, so I needed to refigure and figure out who I was and get the best of myself. And I needed to know where to start. And so when I started following you, your message kept popping up and pushing me to, I needed to start somewhere. I didn't know how to begin. And God pointed out to me that, you will help me through that ground up forward to help me to move forward. And so that's the reason I contacted you.
Awesome. And so we had that discovery call. And on that call, you shared with me this story of pain and at the same time a story of what you would like to do in terms of empowering other women because you had suffered a series of miscarriages. So talk to us a little bit about that journey which led you now to reach a place of, okay, I'm reaching out to Dr. Nadine because I want to do something with this. What was a mess? I want to do something with it. I want to create a powerful message.
Actually, when I was contacting you, I was not thinking about joining the speakership mentorship program. I was contacting you because I had an interest in writing, and I thought probably I'll start writing. So let me contact you. I had I lost my mom when I was about 23 years old, and that propelled me in a life of, maybe I can call it a life of service. So, but eventually, when I got married, my husband and I had decided to start a family, but we discovered that really it wasn't the way we really wanted. So, in the process of my conception journey, I lost, in total, I lost about 4 pregnancies.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in a moment whereby I felt low. I had lost my pregnancies. I felt even as much as I decided to leave my job, it was almost like a loss also for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like on a space whereby I would not. I was feeling lost. I was feeling lost, and I needed to grapple on something to be able to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pain. Let me go from the beginning. I had 3 miscarriages before I conceived, but I discovered that really I hadn't healed from those losses. I
Mm.
still following me up. I was, moving forward, but not really dealing with the losses that I'd incurred before, and that was affecting my life also in terms of uh, my everyday life. And
Mm-hmm.
so when I contacted you, I really even didn't know what I needed to talk about.
Yeah.
In the process of the mentorship is when I discovered, oh, really, this is actually what I am here for. So
Right.
yeah.
Wow. So awesome. So we had that conversation, and even though we did, it's like you said, you were not looking to become a speaker. You were just contacting me because you were like, okay, I have something inside, and you didn't even know what it was. But there in the conversation, you spoke about that the 3 miscarriages you had before conceiving your first child, and then you had another miscarriage. And it's while we were in that speaker program, I guess, we were able to clearly identify that you had a message based on your experience. So
Mhm.
talk to us about, okay, you're in the speaker mentorship program. It wasn't your plan at all. What was
No,
that like for you? What was that journey like for you?
oh, it was a bit difficult for me because I had to be in a space whereby I had to now express myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because from my initial loss of my mom, I had to learn to be able to be the stronger person
Mm-hmm.
to deal with stuff by myself. And
Mm-hmm.
so here I was in a speaker mentorship program where I needed to learn to actually articulate and speak to be able to reach out and pass the message. And I had to learn to let go. I had to learn. So it was difficult. I remember in some instances, I when I thought about coming in, I was like, okay, I am coming in. I am, it was almost like a fearful experience because I knew I needed to face myself.
Mm-hmm.
And you did not let me be on that background even as much as I wanted to hide behind and just sail through and get through the program. I think you noticed it and you started pointing it out on me, and so I had to learn, and I was grateful because eventually I was able to speak out. I remember one of the things that you mentioned clearly is that we needed to actually speak from our scars and not from our own. So I needed to face myself and deal with the things I needed to heal to
Mm-hmm.
be able to now articulate the message out clearly, first to myself and then to my audience.
Right. I'm so happy you mentioned that because it was really hard seeing you week after week showing up but still trying to be in the background. And I remember many times calling out to you saying, Villa, I need you to speak. And so I would ask questions and I would ask the questions repeatedly, but nothing was coming out. But I never stopped doing it because I realized at some point, you would be almost in a sense forced to speak because there you were in the program. We recognize that there is not just a story, but a powerful message to actually help women. But then again, as you mentioned, the fears of facing your fears and being able to speak out and finding your voice. And I think that a lot of our ladies who are listening could probably identify with at some point in the journey, struggling with, finding that voice, even when you know that there is a powerful message there. And so week after week, I would call out on you. And we had, of course, a lot of private one on ones because I wanted to just know where your mind was at, what was happening. And so you're doing that work in the program. You shy, obviously, in the program. You also not wanting to speak out. But what was like your greatest moment, like your aha moment, your wow moment of some moment that really struck you and you realize, you know what, I need to own up to this?
One of the things, one of the reasons I think I wasn't able to articulate is, you know, not feeling like um, other people understood my pain or where I was. And so that's why I felt I needed to just deal with myself and move on. But when you started, pressing me to actually now talk about it, and then you are, it was like a resounding. I was talking my thoughts out, and then you were just, modifying it. And when you articulate it so clearly, I was like, exactly, that is what I needed to say. That is actually what I mean. And that was an aha moment for me. And I was like, okay, she actually understands my thought process, even when I'm not able to articulate it properly. Maybe because of the fear of being misunderstood, or
Mhm.
not thinking that you understand my grief and the pain. And so when you are able to just sound it back to me in a way that made sense, I felt now more comfortable, and I knew I'm on the right path. The journey is right for me.
Wow, awesome, awesome. Yeah, I remember those moments for real because I saw the struggle, I felt it as well, and I knew that the story was in there. We needed to pull it out of you. We needed to pull you out of your shell, right? And so that's the genuine on there. And so now we're working on your message. What were some of the other moments or other, let's say, supplementary experiences that really helped you in really grounding yourself in your message?
Um, One of the things that you had pushed, and the courses that that you had brought out, that I was able to actually go through, especially the courses on prayer.
Mhm.
Um, Going through them on my own, I understood, I was able to deal with my fears through prayer. I knew there was a higher um, purpose and a higher calling. And that reminded me of the moment when I remember we met a few years back. I don't know whether you remember that. And when you came to speak in Kenya, and I bought some of your books,
Okay.
but I didn't read them. I basically didn't read them. I kept them. But there's an experience I had that same year, where the year before I contacted you, I had suffered my fourth miscarriage. I had left my job, and then I also had to go through a major surgery. And I remember being on the low the moment, the day before I checked into hospital. The thing that I carried, my Bible and that particular book, I hadn't read it. So I decided, let me just pick it up. And so when I was waiting, for the whole process, and I went through your book, and I knew, that this is, I need to get rid of the fear,
Mhm.
and that is one of the things that helped me. So when I was doing the course, one of the prayer courses was a supplementary for me, because I was able to do it on my own.
Mhm.
And then you also do have some supplementary courses for SOAR, which actually enabled me to know that, I need to be a wholesome me. It's not only just the speakership mentorship program only.
Yeah.
Um, in the spiritual aspect also.
Mhm.
Um, there is also the aspect of being able to go to the marketplace, having the skills to do that. And that was really helpful for me. So even as I was able to go through the courses, even before the classes,
Mhm.
it actually propelled me and gave me the insight that I needed.
Awesome. So the runway to soar was able to assist because in
Yes.
that first module we talk about who am I, and we have a
Yeah.
module on facing your fears and about mindset, and also
Yeah.
the certified prayer counselor class that really helped in the spiritual development aspect.
Yes, I remember actually when you initially told me to introduce myself, and I was just introducing myself, with the roles that I had. I am a mother. You were asking, who exactly is Willa? Who are you? So I needed to be able to just peel the masks to be able to rediscover who I was. And that brought out the fact that actually, in the process of my service, and I had actually lost the person that
Mm.
I was, or I thought I was, and I needed to discover myself. So your program enabled me to now rebuild and now face myself and to discover who I was through the programs and through the other courses that I was taking.
Awesome, awesome. Because a lot of times, when people think about, building a speaking platform, they're only thinking about, okay, in fact, most people don't even think about the message. All they think about is, okay, I need to be in front of people speaking. And so in the program, we not only focus on the speaking aspect of things, but we're looking at the woman behind the speaking. How do you face her? And it's the reason why you had access to these other programs, because it's like a holistic approach to being able to present yourself in front of people. Because as we go out into the marketplace to speak, there will be people who are going to criticize, who may not receive the message. And as we always say in the program, your message is not for everybody. But if you're not prepared to face that, then you might begin to doubt the message. And that's the reason why we have access to it. And I'm happy that you took you advantage of that access so that you can develop the different aspects of you, so that as you go out into the world to speak, you go out without the shame of the fact that, okay, I lost, I had four miscarriages, or I had problems if in terms of conceiving children. But now you know Villa, you understand who she is, you understand what used to drive her fears, and now what empowers you to either face your fears or make your fears work for you. And I'm really excited for that journey. And so now we're in the program, and I remember one day putting you on the love seat, and we're looking that week, we was looking at the titles. What will you be called when you go to speak? And while we were on that call, I remember doing some, Google searches to find out what is a name that is used for a mother who loses their children. And there the word came up, Viloma.
Yes, it did. And through the program, I really wasn't sure what I really wanted to talk about. I knew I needed to talk about my experiences, but I couldn't, figure it out and point it out. Um, but that day when you kept talking and having the conversation and, typing away, and the word came up and it was like, Vilom, I was like, exactly that is what I really want to be. And all the world just opened up and I was like, aha, this is actually me. This is the path I want to go. This is actually what God is calling me to do through my experiences. Um, you know, um, Realizing that the losses do not define me as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they don't define who I am.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shame associated with lack of conception
Mm-hmm.
and also the loss of children, especially through miscarriage. It's not a loss that someone sees. And it's so hard for people to identify the invisible loss that comes and the grief that comes along with it. Most of the time, people don't even know that you've lost something.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
it feels as a way that God has instilled in terms of the instinct of motherhood. So you're the only one who knows. There's no physical evidence of the loss that you've incurred, or even through conception. If you wait for too long,
Mm-hmm.
there's that aspect of the things that you have planned for yourself. I need to have children by this time.
Mm-hmm.
There's that plan. So there's that loss of the things that should have been, could have been, I should have done this. And it's so hard for people to pinpoint because most of the time they think, everything is going on. But yeah, but it's real grief that it needs to be dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
And know many women are going through it.
Mm-hmm.
And probably they do not have an avenue or they do not know how to face it. Or they, maybe sometimes they even don't know that they're going through it.
Right.
By sharing the experience, um, I'm hoping that they'll also be able to identify and be able to know that really um, it doesn't have to be this way. You don't have to lose your personal self in as
Mm.
much as you lost the undergone through the losses that you've gone through. And so for me, being able to identify this is it was a big breakthrough for me.
Right.
Yeah.
That's powerful right there. Because I remember as we were working to develop your story, it was a lot of work working with your story, because it's trying to help you to articulate what you're thinking or feeling, and then me trying to put it on paper, even though I've not had the experience. And I remember us just coming up with what is the message you want to share, with women who've had these so-called invisible losses, right? And just being able to understand, for example, like in your case, and for every woman listening, that if you've lost a child through miscarriage or and so on, you haven't lost you. And so, what is that message in addition to that one point? What is that core message you really want to share with women? Because there are many women struggling with miscarriages. A lot of women are experiencing it, and you wanting to help them. What is that major thing that you want to say to these women, especially? And then you have great advice on even one on the conception process. What is it you want to share with these ladies?
For me, is to make them understand um, that you can actually own your own healing process. In as much as we have other avenues, you know, until you own that healing process by yourself, you'll
Mhm.
still be stuck in one place. And once you own your healing process, then the whole, world opens up to you.
Mm,
So for me, it's enabling them to be able to have self-awareness, because once you have self-awareness, you're able to now start the process of healing.
right.
And once you start the process of healing, you are able to now move forward and become more productive
Mm,
in your life, and also be able to in other people's life. But it starts with you.
mhm.
I remember uh, going through one of my with my friends just before I got in touch with you. One of the things I learned is that I am my own. I need to be able to love myself first.
Right.
Yeah, I am the most important person in my life. And once I discover that I'm the most important person in my life, I'm able to now be able to show or to pass the same message across to the other people. So once the women and once we are able to own our own healing process, we decide to do what's good for us in terms of all aspects. Taking ownership means that you're able to now discover what is wrong with me. Why do I have to go? Why have I taken so long to conceive? Why am I losing pregnancies? So you
Mm,
start asking yourself those questions and taking the step, whether it's taking professional getting professional help, or there's things that you need to change in your life in terms of probably your diet, or through exercise, or through a whole changes that need to be done in you. So
mm,
once you start owning that, the whole world now opens up to you, and you're now receptive to God's word also, and to also helping other people. So it starts with us taking
mm.
that ownership first.
Wow, that's like amazing information right there. You dropped a few nuggets. And for me, one of the more critical things in what you shared there, I want ladies to get is that not only are you owning the healing process, but it will now give you the impetus for you to now find out ways to solve the problem. Because you mentioned things like changing diets and these different things, because sometimes women are unaware and we may just think this is just a natural part of the process or my body's just rejecting. But what if you could actually change the environment of your womb and begin to make some changes that's going to position you to better be able to conceive? I mean, I've never been pregnant. I mean, I've made no apologies about the fact that I never wanted to be either. But I know that there are so many women who are dying to be moms, like biological moms, because I'm sure I have, surrogate children all over the world. But I'm sure there are folks who want to be biological moms, who want to be able to birth their kids. And I really believe that what you have to share, it's really going to help a lot of women, especially within the Christian space, because we do not have these types of conversations. So, Villa, you came to the program. One of the things I noticed is toward the end of the program, your eyes literally opened up. So, where are you now in your thought process and the struggle that you had initially, about just having a message in general? Now you actually have one. You didn't know it was there. You actually realize I have it. Where are you now in your mindset about, that message that you have to share with the world?
Oh wow. Now I'm more open. In fact, I share my experiences through my social media,
Hmm.
just to be able to pass the message across. The thing about having invisible losses sometimes is that we are not even aware that we have them, or it's eating us upside inside. But when you're aware, it means you're able to do something about it. Whether it is realizing that you're no longer able to conceive or you're able to conceive, but you know and you take hold of it. So right now I am talking about my experience. I've taken up a mentoring. I I am a mentor with our women ministry group, New Life Church. So I mentor on self awareness. And right now, I have engagements coming up as well, beginning of next month, and another one in July. For the one for June, we have our Women Ministry Peer Week, where I'm a part of the panel that is going to have a discussion in areas surrounding women and how they can be able to, live a more wholesome life. And I have another one that is coming up in July as well with the Emeralds. It's an interdenominational women ministry organization that is handles and deals with women who are going through various experiences, so that can have a wholesome life through through prayer, through fellowship, through making the changes, and so being out there and seeing the difference that is making on women. And yeah, that's where I am right now, and that's what I'm doing.
Amazing. Can you believe it? This woman who came into the program just trying to sit behind the scenes, not wanting to speak for weeks of just having me trying to just pull out. It was the hardest, just trying to pull
Going.
things out of you. And now, even before the program ended, you already began because now you had clarity on what you're supposed to speak about. And now that you have clarity on it, now you have confidence that you're now able to go out there and you're already booking speaking engagements. I mean, this is amazing. You are an example of exactly why the speaker mentorship program actually exists.
I remember you mentioning that we can do very many things, but we can't do everything. So we need to discover what it is that we are been sent here for,
Mhm.
and then be able to concentrate on that. And that made a whole difference, because now my mind is not clouded with so many things. I am clear about what it is that I need to share. I'm
Mhm.
clear about what it is that God sent me here to do.
Amen.
And that means that whereas before I would think 24 hours, there's so much to do. Now, because I have concentrated on what it is that I need to do and the message I need to pass across, now I find that I have so much time in my hands to do what I do, which
Wow.
is I'm a consultant. I'm a customer experience consultant on the side, but I'm able to do now what I feel God has called me to do as well, and be able to juggle that, and also do my mentorship program as well. And
Mhm.
also, of course, juggle with my other roles, which is my motherhood and being a wife.
Yes.
But there's so much clarity and so much time, and that I got once I finished the program. The clarity is the most. Is, what I can say is clarity is what I got from the program.
Yes. I remember receiving a text message from you just saying, I'm so happy and grateful I did that program. Like it was the best investment that you would have made, in yourself. And I'm really excited for you. And it's ironic because you went through something terrible, but we know that the Bible says all things work together for good. It's not like God intended for you to go through that, but he is now going to allow you to minister to what you have been through. And so because of that, your journey in ministry and in speaking is going to be so impactful because you have been through what you're going to minister to women about. So there's so many ladies out there with stories. Some of them don't know, just like you went through all of that and you didn't realize that's where my message was lying. We're about to start a new cohort of the speaker mentorship program. What would you say to ladies who are listening to you, who are being inspired by you and just your journey, the struggle to become the woman that you are now, that even before, you did this interview, you have already booked speaking engagement. What would you say to these ladies?
Um, you need to be intentional about yourself as a person. When you're intentional about yourself, then you're able to start off. And if I can mention that, as a coach, you're not the first person I thought about taking the program with. I also had other discussions with other coaches, but I knew from where I was, the level I was, your program will be the one that is going to propel me to the next level,
Mm-hmm.
to be enable me to be able to probably even have uh, engagements with other coaches. And
Mm-hmm.
so from that level, your program has helped me do that. So for the woman who's there wondering what to do with themselves, I want to encourage you to take this speakership mentorship program with Dr. Nadine. It will help you discover who you are, discover what your purpose is, and propel you to the next level. So for me, I made an intentional purpose to develop myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that means taking that step. That means making an investment on yourself. I
Mm-hmm.
know I did investments on other people before, but this was about me this time. And when it becomes about you and you take that investment, then you get support from even your close family members and your close friends. And I remember when I made the intention that I am taking this course, I took the course when I didn't know where the money was coming from, or even if, when I had the money at all. So I took the course. And the good thing is that you do have a payment plan that enables you to be able to just move forward. And once you start, God provides everything that you need for the journey ahead. And
Mm-hmm.
so I want to encourage the other women, if you're still in that valley of not being able to make a decision about it, I want to encourage you to take that course. Invest on yourself. Invest in yourself is the best thing that you'll ever have done for yourself.
Awesome. Villa, I'm so proud of you just to see where you've come from, seeing the woman that you were week one to who you are now. It's just a total transformation. But I'm sure our viewers would love to know how they can get in touch with you. And so, where can they find you and how can they reach you?
I have a website, villamagati.com. You can get in touch with me through that website. You can also contact me via email, info@villamagati.com. And you
Mhm.
can also look for me and get in touch with me through my social media platform as well. Facebook, I'm Villa Magati. All the platforms are Villa Magati. So get in touch with me. Let's walk this journey together. We don't want to leave any woman behind, because when you transform yourself, you transform the whole everyone else. I know the reason I'm doing this is because I said I want uh, to make an example for my children. I want to give them permission to
Mm.
be able to work on themselves as well and to move forward as well.
Amen. Thank you so much, Villa. We appreciate you sharing today. I know that the ladies who were listening have been inspired, and we're so grateful, ladies, that you joined us all week as we featured these lovely ladies. And as we end the series with Villa, we are so excited that she has shared her story with us. And so we look forward to seeing you next month when we feature another group of ladies. And Villa, we wish you continued blessings in your journey as you continue to minister to the needs of women, especially as it relates to healing from losses that no one probably even counts. And so God bless you and thank you for sharing with us today. Bye, viewers. See you next month.
Bye.